Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a collective message. So I was doing a client reading for a friend, actually. She's a soul sister and was being really activated through that reading as well, which often happens with us, and was having a lot of understanding and clarity being received and going through my own massive breakthrough. So this is happening real time right here, right now. I'm going through a breakthrough, experiencing a breakthrough, at least the beginning of that, a processing of that. I do have 2 new videos up on both of my channels. There is the Sacred Union Energy Update, where we talk about the energy that's been received the past couple of days and go a little bit deeper with the reading. And then we have the Sacred Channeling over on Susan Dawn Ascension Connections. Make sure you check that out as well, where we dive even deeper and talk about what is going on with the collective, especially for you Divine Feminines, especially when it comes to your counterpart connection and why there seems to be this split in the collective as far as, you know, other counterparts or other divine matches, or the universal conscious masculine energy, as I was calling it. That new energy that's coming in. For some, it's going to be your counterpart who has really, transformed and grown. And for others, it is going to be a conscious masculine who is matching your frequency. We talk about that. That being said, it's really interesting that I've been channeling that, because what I understood is what that means for myself and my own journey. As you guys know, I am on this journey too, and I share and have always shared the raw and the real. If you go back to my Ascension Confessions playlist, where I used to really dive deep into my own healing, that I can't even believe that I posted those videos. I can't even believe that's where I was, several years ago. When I first started the channel, when I first started this real active healing journey that I was on, always going through this healing and self-development. But when I was activated to Ascension with my counterpart, I was really, exploring that healing really actively, really deeply. And I was sharing some of the pain, some of the raw, some of the real parts of this Ascension journey. So I feel like I'm doing that here too. I feel like I'm really sharing with you guys this breakthrough that I've been having. I've been really in this battle of mind over heart, and I've talked about that in some of my readings as well, my own experiences. I've been having this trouble understanding my own journey, because the reflection doesn't always reflect what you want it to reflect, right? That's part of the trouble on this journey. It doesn't always reflect what you want, but it always reflects what you need, especially when it comes to the illusions in the physical form, the illusions of the physical experience. We know on this journey now that the 3D, the physical experience, is the illusion. We need to accept and appreciate and embrace the physical experience, because we are in physical form. We're having these physical experiences. That's part of why we are here, to be human. But we're also recognizing the spiritual nature of ourselves. That's the balance here. That's the remembrance. That's what the healing work is for. We are remembering that we are creators of that reality, creators of that physical experience. That's where our self-mastery steps in. So when we're experiencing the illusions of the 3D, especially when things get really difficult or things feel like a struggle, we can sometimes, spiral into our own thoughts and question, why are we experiencing this? Even though there are lessons, even though there are expansions to come from it, it's really hard for us to kind of embrace and accept those experiences. So we're really taking a step back from the 3D. Even though we accept the 3D, we understand that we experience the 3D, the physical form, we're really learning how to trust the energy. The energy is what is real, especially when it comes to these counterpart connections. I talk about this all the time, that you have to discern for yourself. No reader, no healer, no guru, no guide can ever tell you what is true for you. You have to trust yourself when it comes to counterpart connections, when it comes to your life as a whole. Any reader, any good healer is just helping you find your own intuition, helping you facilitate your own healing, and helping you access your own inner wisdom. I always say that. So you have to trust your journey, but sometimes it's really hard for us to trust our journey, because the illusion can feel so thick. The illusion has felt very thick the past couple of months, again. where we felt like we had broken through that veil, it's been thick again. And that's been challenging for us to really go within and dive deeper. But what that is a deeper energy of surrender, asking us to really trust in ourselves, really trust our connection to God's source, the universe, whatever it is that you want to call it. Really asking us to really feel into our heart space for what we intuitively know is true, and to believe in that and to trust in that. Again, accepting the present reality, but knowing that from our trust in ourselves, we get to create our future timelines. Recognizing that other people have free will. You know, your counterpart is on their own journey. Your counterpart is going through their own experiences as well. But trusting in yourself and your own knowing. So part of my struggle has been battling my mind and my heart. In my heart, I know that my counterpart is my counterpart. In my heart, I truly feel that he is my person. The 3D has not always reflected that. The 3D has been very heartbreaking at times, especially in the energy of, I don't want to call it separation, because especially the past couple of weeks, I have not felt separate from him. But when there is the actions or the behaviors of that silence, of that separation, that's what feels painful. That's the pattern that replays itself. That's what feels painful. It's not the separation, because you know truly that there is no separation. And I had really been anchored into this energy of just peace and love and joy, and knowing that wherever he is in the world, that it's beautiful, because the love transcends time and space, and we know that. My illusion has been, is he or is he not my counterpart? That has always been my illusion, because when the 3D tends to showcase something that is not ideal, or is not something that I truly want, like lack of communication, or, you know, my counterpart has a habit of going into solitude and not communicating. He, you know, needs his alone time and his space, but then he goes about that for a long time, and whenever we come back together, it's great, but you know, it's really painful for me. That's where I've had to step up and not abandon myself. That's where I've had to step up and heal my own anxious attachment wounds. I've come a really long way in that, and I'm really proud of myself, by the way. So recognizing that, that's part of my healing process. You know, I've had my own wounds, I've had my own patterns, I've had my own stuff that I've had to heal. Everybody does. Everybody does. So recognizing that, I've been able to just enter into, as this long process, you know, over the course of my journey, it's been a process. I've been able to really, in the past couple of weeks, over the past couple of months and years, this has been happening as a process, but over the past couple of weeks, I really anchored into this feeling of union within, feeling like there is no separation, because there's no separation between me and myself. There's no lack between me and myself, and especially there's no lack between me, myself, and God's source. That's where the connection is really grounded. That's where the connection is really true. And when there's no connection between you, yourself, and God's source, there's no separation, or I don't know what I just said, but when there's no separation between you, yourself, and God's source, there's no separation between you, yourself, and your twin, your divine masculine, your divine counterpart, whichever end of the spectrum that you are. It is oneness. You are one with your counterpart. But for me, it was always, who is my counterpart? That was always the illusion, where I felt it, but then it always felt like there was some action, especially him saying, you know, that the relationship was just this or it was just that. Even though I was feeling the love, it made me really doubt the connection. And so the illusion for me, for others, it's been perhaps, you know, is this journey real? Am I just making this up? For others still, it could be, you know, am I part of this collective? For others still, it could be, you know, whatever. Everybody has, you know, their wound. Everybody has their illusion. For me, my illusion was my counterpart. My illusion is my counterpart my person? My illusion was not believing that this person who came back into my life as like the second chance, could be my person. We've known each other for such a long time. And there was a time when I was the runner. When we were very young children, he always saw me and I truly believe always loved me. I was not in a place, even at a young age, because of trauma that I experienced. I was not in a place where I loved myself. And I couldn't receive then what he was offering. And I was afraid of it. There was a time when I was afraid of love. So it's always been, it's not always the masculine, we have to understand. We have our own shit. We have our own stuff, divine feminines. We recognize that. That's why we have been doing what we've been doing on the journey. We have been through it. We have been healing. We have been recognizing our stuff. Divine masculines, they have their own aspect of the journey. For me, the illusion always was, is he journeying with me? Are we really in connection? Is this really real? Are we really in connection? Are we really doing this together? And what I've realized is that I've needed to let go of him completely. Let go of the idea of him. Let go of the possibility of him being my counterpart. Allow myself to consider that maybe he's not, and just surrender that completely and trust in God. This is ultimate surrender. We go through layers and layers and layers of it. But to release attachment, to release the need to know, to just allow ourselves to trust in God, that is ultimate surrender. It is so hard. It is so hard to do. And that is why this journey of surrender has been a process. Again, that's why it happens in layers, because it is hard. It does not happen. It's not something that happens like lickety split. It is hard. It is part of a process. And so for me, I've had to really just release him completely in order to trust that I have that sacred love, because I am that sacred love. And to not expect, but to trust, and to let God just show me the way, to let God just really lead me on the path that I'm on to that sacred love, as I embody that sacred love within myself, because that is inner union, and outer union has no choice but to reflect that, because your external reality has no choice but to reflect your inner reality. That is one of the laws of the universe. That is the gift that God has given all of us in the creation of the universe. And as we expand through that, the universe expands. God's source energy expands. And we are part of God's source. We are part of the universe. We are the universe. So our expansive nature, our learning, our surrendering, our trusting is part of the expansiveness of the universe. It's how the universe expands and grows in that love, because trust is love. And so I ask you guys, challenge yourselves. What is your illusion? What is your deepest fear? What is your deepest wound? What is your deepest pattern? What is your illusion that you've had to face and that you've had to surrender? It can be a hard question. It can be the deepest dive yet. I don't know. Like I said, I'm having this breakthrough now. It's something that's always been leading up. I've been getting pieces and pieces and pieces of it, but to recognize that my counterpart has been my illusion, and not in that he's not my counterpart, but in learning how to just let go and recognize that, to be able to trust that in a different way. I've had to let go of the illusion that he might be and he might not be. The dueling perspectives there. Again, fighting with the mind and the heart to let go of those dueling perspectives and just be. Just be my own inner union. To be that own twin flame. To be that own sacred self. To be my own love. And the more that I embody that, the more I'm understanding what's true in my heart and what feels right in my heart, and allowing myself, rather than denying that, to come towards that. So I challenge you guys to ask yourselves, what is your illusion? What has your illusion been on this journey, and how do you surrender to it? I'm still unraveling this. I'm sure I'll have more to say on this, or Spirit will have more to say on this coming forth, but there's still more that I'm understanding. There's still more that's being shown to me. It has been a difficult journey, hasn't it? But we are getting through it with such grace and so much love and so much joy. We are really entering a new era, a higher heart ascension, where our journey is no longer based on pain and triggers and trauma and healing. All that is now about embodying love and embracing that love and trusting in that love. And that's where I had to let go of the illusion and just allow myself to trust in that love. I wasn't able to fully embrace and believe because it was scary for me that my person could be my person, especially when, again, the 3D felt so different than what I was feeling inside of me. But I have always felt his energy with me, and I've always trusted that. But I've had to let go completely in order to come back to it, in order to come back to myself in a better way, in a higher way, in a more loving way. I feel like I'm not even doing it justice, and I'm just rambling now. It's very late. But I wanted to share this with you guys because it felt important. It was a breakthrough for me. Maybe it's going to make sense for you. If it doesn't, please disregard it. Come back to it another time. But if it does make sense to you, share your stories. Share how you're surrendering. Share what your illusions are. Let's help each other. All right, I'm sending you guys so much love, so much light, and I'll see you soon.